want to welcome you today to our webinar for Optimal Health God's Way. Today we're going to be talking all about oils and intimacy. Yes, there are oils for all of that too. And so we are going to start by talking about just simple contact and hugs and kisses and what that does.
So everybody needs hugs and kisses every day. Daniel and I trying to hug each other at least 15 times a day. That's what they say is the healthy rate is going. So we're going to start with a hug today and a kiss. And what this does, it releases some hormones when you hug somebody and get in contact with your significant other. It releases oxytocin, which is a hormone that's going to help being connected to the others. Also reduces blood pressure, and it's just going to give you an overall positive feeling. Another hormone that your body releases during a hug is dopamine, which is also called the pleasure hormone.
The reason we're talking about hugs and kisses and hormones is because hormones are secreted by the endocrine system, and the endocrine system is made up here, as we see, of things that we hear about all the time, like the adrenal glands. That's something that caffeine affects and stress affects. The ovaries for the woman, the thyroid, that's something that we hear a lot about. But it actually influences almost every cell of the body, and it's in charge of regulating our mood, our growth and development, tissue function, metabolism, sexual function, and reproductive processes. And so there's such a balance that has to go on between these things, and when one thing gets out of whack, it throws everything else out of whack. So today we're going to talk about how we can support the endocrine system. And last week we had a class on winter wellness, and as you see here in this list, last week we had 10 tips for staying healthy in the winter, and 8 of them are here to support a healthy endocrine system. So eating a diet rich in whole foods, exercise, taking a probiotic, getting high in antioxidants like your Ningxia Red. It's not just for winter, it's for every system of your body that these things are needed. So I really encourage you to go back and listen to our winter wellness webinar for year-round health.
And Young Living makes a wonderful probiotic called Life 5, which our family takes every day.
So the next thing is that we really want to talk about is your omega-3 fatty acids. These are essential fats for the body because they are actually part of the building block of your hormones and your hormone production, and they come from a high quality fish oil, and it will not leave a fishy taste in your mouth at all. Our son uses omega J's every day as well for healthy brain function, so not just for the building blocks of the hormones, but so many things those omega-3s are for. And the thing about a standard American diet is that what it does is it throws off this delicate balance that we need to have between omega-3s and omega-6s. Omega-6s are, when they do research, they see that foods are offering us, say, 1 part omega-3 to 20 parts omega-6s, like your soybean, your peanut oils, your corn oils, things like that. So you need to focus on eating a diet high in omega-3s with your coconut oils, avocado, having meats that are grass-fed, and things like chia seeds, flax seeds. All of those are going to be really good. Also, want to talk to you a little bit about your diet before we get into our oils and our supplements. And we try very, very hard to eat local, eat fresh, going to the farmer's market, or finding grass-fed meats from the local farmers, because those grass-fed meats, they're the right omega-3s. and then we know that they haven't been sprayed down with the pesticides and the chemicals and things like that that can be so detrimental to our endocrine system. One in particular thing is soy. Soy is in almost everything that we eat. If you're buying packaged and processed food, you'll see it a lot of times as soy isolate proteins, and the thing is, they're put in a lot of health foods like health bars and in your shakes and things like that you buy, not Young Living. So just be on the lookout for soy, because what it does is it mimics the estrogen, and it causes the levels in our body to just be completely out of whack, and it's incredibly harmful. And I know that sometimes we get overwhelmed. I know when my daughter was little, I chose to take milk away because it was mucus forming for her body, and I switched to soy milk and I didn't know that the soy then was the genetically modified soy that was not good for her as well. And so it's making healthy choices and doing the best you can every day to eat the right foods that are going to be beneficial to your body.
And we encourage you guys to do your own research. And as I was ready for this class, we had it earlier in Hungarian. I was getting ready and did my research in Hungarian, and I started, looking at the soy. It's bad news, Guy, and it's bad news, and it's so hard to go to a grocery store and actually read the labels and find something decent to buy.
Yeah, so just do your research. Definitely get the soy out to help support a healthy endocrine system. Another thing that you may not know that's kind of sneaking up on you is your cleaning supplies and your beauty care products. One of the first things I did when I joined Young Living was switch to the Thieves Household Cleaner, because the things that are in our cleaners, like the parabens and the propylene glycol, sodium lauryl sulfate, our skin is our largest organ. When those things get on our skin, or even when we're breathing those in, they are very harmful with those xenoestrogens, and they really hurt our endocrine system, which is that system that we're talking about today. And so I encourage you to think about switching out your cleaners to non-toxic. I use the beauty supplies from Young Living, and the candles, your synthetic candles have got to go, and the diffuser is perfect for that, because you can mix and match your oils to have a great smelling home in whatever you enjoy and want it to smell like.
Everybody should try the Thieves Household Cleaner. It smells so good, and it's so cost effective. A bottle of concentrate makes about 30 bottles of these that you can mix yourself with water, and you have cleaner for everything.
And if you'll check out the website ewg.org, that's going to take you to the environmental working group, where you can actually read and rate the products you already have in your home and see they put them on a scale of 1 to 10, basically, of how toxic they are and can they be affecting your body. And so these are just some tips we have that we feel are necessary in having overall health. The next thing we're going to start with is a blend called ENDOFLEX. So Endo is going to stand for endocrine, and it is going to be very beneficial to your thyroid. That is what I do, is take a couple of drops, and I like to apply it right here to the thyroid area. And since it comes in the white label ENDOFLEX Vitality, it can also be put in a capsule and taken as a supplement. So if you're looking for endocrine support, this is one that you would want to add every day. And we know, like, what our thyroid does is it helps support healthy metabolism. And so it's a good one to add to your daily regimen. Also, Thyromin is a supplement from Young Living that has spearmint and myrrh, and it has different amino acids and herbs, and it is specifically formulated just as a supplement you take at night before bed to help support a healthy thyroid. PROGESSENCE Plus. So we talked about how there's this balance that has to be in our bodies with your progesterone and your estrogen. And so this was specifically formulated for women to help support those healthy levels. And progesterone has a wonderful role in our body, okay? Naturally, it is produced in our body. It's produced in our ovaries, and it's actually produced in the placenta when a woman gets pregnant, and even as part of the adrenal glands. And it helps the body to prepare for conception and pregnancy. It's what helps regulate your menstrual cycle. It's what balances your sexual desire. And so because of the estrogens that we were talking about, the xenoestrogens, and how full of that our world is, you know, that balance can get out of whack. And so PROGESSENCE Plus, I use it every day, 5 to 7 drops. I put it in the area of my abdomen, but it could also be used here on your neck or on your arms. And it's not all just essential oil. The actual progesterone in this comes from wild yam root, and so we like to teach on clary sage as well. It is found in Dragon Thyme, as you can see there, and 2 other blends, scleressence and lady sclerol, that are all to support those healthy balance in the body. Scleressence is a vitality oil that can be taken internally. So clary sage is not a vitality oil, but it's in scleressence, which is. So you decide how you would like to use it the most. But it's formulated to help with those mild mood changes, cramps, water retention that we associate with the menstrual cycle. And why does that happen? Why do we have those mild mood changes, cramps, and those kind of things? Well, what happens is that when it's time for your period, there is a significant drop in your estrogen levels. Okay, it's just part of the natural cycle that your body has. And so this also happens. It also happens during menopause. It also happens after childbirth, and it also happens when you're breastfeeding, okay? And when that happens and that estrogen drops, there are things that can happen, like it can cause dryness, okay, like vaginal dryness. So this would be something that not only could help support during PMS, but also help support that a great place to use that would just be on the inner thighs, or again, something like a scleressence comes in vitality. So if it's not your favorite smell, you can think about using it inside of a capsule. So Laurent's going to share a little bit about the oil blend mister.
That reminded me when we had Jack, and he was 2 weeks late, and if he would have known about young living back then, we would have pop some clary sage in and get that puppy out. What Mister does, Mister balances your hormone levels in a man, and it's actually suggested for men age 30 and up. In Mister, we have yarrow, sage, myrtle, fennel, lavender, peppermint, sesame seed.
And you could use that topically.
Yes, or it has such a good smell. I mean, men use it as a cologne instead of using a synthetic one, and so not only it balances your hormone levels, but it supports a very healthy prostate.
And some women that are over, in that menopausal or menopausal stages, it's going to support women during those stages of hot flashes and things like that because of the drops. A good place to put that for women is you can look at the reflexology chart and find those spots that are actually near the ankle areas where you could apply that every day. So the first half of that class was just some education on your body, how it works, how your hormones work. But we know what a lot of you really came for is, oils and intimacy and how to use those in your relationship with your husband, with your wife. And so we're going to just jump right into that. And before we get to the oils, we're going to talk a little bit about the 5 love languages.
My favorite topic. And can you believe that Gary Chapman is going to be in Debrecen, Hungary, where we live, in March, to talk about the love languages, and
to the Hungarians.
Yeah, and my lovely wife signed us up so we can go listen to this guy. And this is not my favorite topic as far as that book and all, but it's following me around everywhere. So I guess I just need to just give in and try to get better at it.
So men and women are very different in their love and how they receive love. And that's kind of what that book talks about, how the 5 different love languages. We have words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. And it's important that we know what our spouse needs in those areas, because, you know, if I bring him a gift every day because I like getting gifts and that's not his love language, then it's not going to impress him at all. Okay.
I'll take some fishing reels every now and then.
Okay.
That'd be okay.
Yeah. So it's just important to know that. So it's just finding that right balance. And so you have to keep the communication open and think, how can I help that other person? It's really important. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what stress does versus what sex does, and why this is an important part of a relationship. So if you read studies, it's going to tell you that stress makes you tired, distracted, unmotivated, and then what happens? Much less sex happens, right? And when a woman is stressed, what happens is the hormone changes in her body trigger a chemical reaction, causing sex hormone binding globulin to bind with the testosterone cells, and then they're unavailable for libido and sexual response. So stress is a big no-no in a relationship, and it's actually seen that couples that are intimate, they heal faster, they get sick less often, and you associate those positive feelings with your partner. So it's just important to keep things going. And we have a couple of oils there, something like a stress away or a joy can be so beneficial in your hectic, busy day at calming you down. But sometimes you just have to choose to be less stressed. I know that for us, you know, there was a time that I worked full time, and it just wasn't good for us.
It was terrible.
And so there was a time that we had to just say, okay, I've got to let this job go, because our relationship was not where it needed to be because of the stress from that. Or maybe your kids are in 10 activities. Sometimes you just have to choose to say no and work on your family more than outside of the home, right? So this just talks about, it says, a great sex life, the kind that remains excellent after the early months and years, does not happen by accident. It takes planning and intentionality. And that's what we were just talking about. Right now, we're in a season that's so different for us because we see each other all day, every day. But that hasn't been the case for previous years. And there was times that we both worked. You know, I worked the 8 to 5 and he worked the 8 to midnight.
Yeah.
And there was definitely, we had to plan. We had to, you know, there's times for to be spontaneous, and then there's seasons of your life that you have to plan. And if you don't plan, you know, things can fail. And so we had to plan. So here's what happens. We know that men are ready at all times. Men are microwaves and women are slow cookers, right? And so you have to be prepared. My number one thing is that you need to make appointments, okay? You need to make it scheduled, and then you can still be spontaneous when you have a chance. Make a schedule. That way, when you get up in the morning, you can text each other throughout the day. Keep things, you know, spiced up. And, you know, whenever you are preparing for that special time and you know it's going to happen, it's okay. Let the kids watch TV 30 minutes extra, and let the wife, you know, get a bath and feel good about herself that day. Get the diffuser going in the bedroom with something that is nice, and
man, do the dishes that night.
yeah, do the dishes, and kiss each other throughout the day and hug each other throughout the day, not for 1 second, but for an extended period to help in preparation, or get some sensation massage oil and have that ready. It takes planning.
Okay, so Shutron came out by Young Living about 3 or 4 years ago, and that was actually the first oil that was designed to catch the attention of women. And
instead of Axe.
Yeah, and I have a story with one of our upline. When it came out in convention, this gentleman got to try it out, put Shutron on, and got in the elevator with you go to a convention with Young Living, mostly you see a bunch of women. So he gets in the elevator, he has his Shutron on, and there's a bunch of women in there with him, and one finally said something, "What do you wear? What are you wearing?" And he said, "Well, it's a new Shutron." And this lady was like, "My goodness, I gotta get some for this for my husband." So it's actually catches catches the attention of women.
And instead of smelling a cologne that's really, we talked about those synthetic things. We talked about how that's very detrimental to the endocrine system. And so this is going to be a way to have a good smelling cologne that's actually going to be supportive of everyone around you. And
we all know how smells can be associated with memories that you had in the past. So if you give your woman a special night wearing Shutron, she's going to remember. She's going to remember that smell, and next time you put it on, she's automatically going to associate it with fireworks. So.
All right. So, you can apply oils in a lot of places, and we know that Young Living oils are the only oils that we suggest for internal use, because we know the seed distill process. Also, we talk here about your VitaFlex points on your feet. We know that it's near the ankles for men and women. And then it's good for the inner thigh area, and it is safe for sensitive areas, but you might want to dilute that with coconut oil, or Young Living has V6 oil, and you would want to avoid oils that are hot, like a Thieves with cinnamon in it or something like oregano. But only Young Living oils would we ever suggest for that. So let's talk about Joy and YLANG. Actually, Joy is a blend that was first called Love from Young Living when it was created, and it's an oil that we really like, that I like to use as a perfume. It has a really floral smell, and in Indonesia, things like YLANG are scattered all over, like honeymoon suites and things like that. So it's a good one for the diffuser. It's a good one as a perfume, or even on the inner thigh area, and it helps to calm and relax you and get that irritability gone. So either of these would be a good oil for you to try out, ladies.
And I love flowery oils, and I love the way they smell. I love YLANG, so just put it in the diffuser and diffuse on.
But sometimes we don't like a certain oil smell. For me personally, these were not, YLANG was not one of my favorite oils. And so sometimes they say that when you smell an oil and it's not your favorite, that it's actually something you need, and it probably was at the time something that I needed. If there's an oil that you don't like the smell right then, you can always add a citrus oil, like maybe a drop of orange, or a drop, if you like woodsy smells, maybe you want to add a drop of cypress or something like that, and you can always blend the oils together. The next one that we're going to talk about is Sensation. Sensation is a blend that does have YLANG in it, but it also has rosewood and it has jasmine. So this is one that you could actually put on the clitoris area or a sensitive area, and you may want to dilute that with some coconut oil. We also have there on the screen a blend that we have used personally, so we know it kind of seems weird because it has the peppermint and the black pepper, but it's not a hot feel or burn feel. It's and so you can put that together with 1 ounce of V6 or the Sensation massage oil, and we like to save our oil bottles when they're empty and reuse them. And so this is going to be 15 milliliter bottle would give you half. You would take 2 of these. It would fill up that recipe right there with the 5 drops of Sensation, 2 drops of peppermint, and 3 drops of black pepper. But the thing about things like your KY jelly and those things, they're synthetic. They can cause dryness and irritation. And so I encourage you to switch to something more natural like this blend, or even just coconut oil is very good. So that's kind of the women's stuff.
Okay, so if there was one oil I would have to pick, or a man would have to pick to keep forever, that would be Idaho Blue Spruce. It's the highest frequency oil there is. It helps you with healthy hormone testosterone levels, and it does helps with sexual performance. You can actually use this diluted topically on your penis area, and it will help your performance during sex.
The next one is CYPRESS, and this is actually one that can be used for men and for women. CYPRESS is part of the raindrop kit, which is something that we do regularly for our immune system. So it's an incredible oil, and it's a very inexpensive oil as well. But what it does is it helps support circulation and blood flow. So for women, you can use it in the sensitive areas or along the thighs to help with that blood flow during sex. And for men, the same thing, used topically, and it's incredible for circulation.
So the next 2 for men is a NUTMEG and Goldenrod, and both of these are vasodilators, meaning it's gonna
Vaso means blood vessel, and dilator means to dilate or to enlarge.
So it's going to dilate your blood vessels, and you can use these diluted topically, and you put the 2 together. You have CYPRESS with circulation, and NUTMEG and Goldenrod would dilate the blood vessels, and you have a great working machine down there.
Finding the regimen that's right for you and your body.
And there's just another example of, I'm not going to wait until I'm 50, 60 and I'm going to have problems in that area and react to that. I'm going to be proactive and take care of my health right now, so I won't have problems later.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to start out with a healthy endocrine system, and the things like the right foods to eat and some supplements that you can take, because it is about being proactive with your health and how can you support a healthy endocrine system so that you're not having those issues. So just wanted to mention that if you are a Young Living member and you're wanting to order any of these oils today, we have an Essential Rewards program where you can earn points back for free products. And so that is what you would want to look into when you place your order. If you're not, if this is your first time learning about Young Living essential oils, we have a wonderful starter kit that has, what we love about this starter kit is that they have done a great job to support every system of your body in this kit. There's Thieves for supporting immune system, Digest for digestive health, RC for respiratory health, Panaway for your muscles, a diffuser for your home. And then we would help you out with different resources and things so that you could learn how to use your oils. So look into the starter kit. That is your best way to join Young Living. And Lauren and I would love to sponsor you. So it's very easy to enroll. You go to youngliving.com, become a member, and then we would love to help walk you through the steps. Our number is 104-5132, and we would love to be your enroller and sponsor. And then, but if you have someone that recommended you to this class today, you would want to get back with them, and you would want to get their number to put in place for sponsor and enroller, because they're going to educate you on Young Living and the products. So we hope you learned a lot about the endocrine system today, and happy practicing. But we want to encourage you to be intentional about your relationship with your spouse, and let us know if you have any questions.